What's up, YouTube? Cousin Matt here, and I'm on a random corner of two highways in southern Utah. Why am I here, you ask? Because this corner has been the subject of a popular YouTube video. See, I'm on the corner of Highway 89 and 62, which was recently the subject of a Reddit post about a 4chan post from years ago about a hidden Truman Show city in southern Utah. So I came out here to check it out, and now we're going to go see what's going on. Is there a city? Is there not? Let's see if we can find out and how far we get. Here we go, tubes. Where's that hidden town at? I'll find it. So a couple weeks ago, I came across a video on YouTube called Utah's Mysterious Fake Towns by a YouTuber called Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities. Tor's video was in reference to a 4chan post from 2019 where a traveler claims to have found a strange town in southern Utah where things just weren't quite right. There was a McDonald's and a La Quinta, but something was definitely off about the town. Let's go ahead and listen to Tor read the original 4chan post.
I think I found a fake town last year. Like, Truman Show fake. Be me. Last summer. Cross-country road trip, hitting up some national parks. In central southern Utah. It's getting late, like 10 p.m. Been driving since 6-ish. It's dark as fuck. No moon, can only see what's lit up by my headlights. Decide to find someplace to rest for the night at next exit. See a town, off in the distance. Turn off on only pull-off I've seen for over an hour, heading towards town. Pull-off is unmarked and unlit, not on car GPS, no cell service. Town is directly ahead though, keep going. Road turns to dirt road, and is about 5 miles until it turns to pavement again. Right at the town, where businesses and houses start showing up. Immediately town strikes me as weird. Nobody is on the streets, no cars on the streets, or in the businesses' parking lots. Jazz music is being pumped through the streets for some reason. Not loudly, but loud enough to hear. This town that looked to be about 7 blocks wide from some miles out has every major fast food chain on the main strip, and 7 hotels on the main street. Still no cell service, no GPS, go to get food. KFC was fully illuminated and unlocked, nobody there. Same thing with Jack in the Box. McDonald's has cashier and cook when I go there, both looked annoyed. Take my order, give me distinctly non-McDonald's nuggets and fries. Leave, start going to get a bed for the night. Hampton Inn, empty parking lot, third annoyed-looking person informs me they're all booked up. La Quinta, person I'm now convinced was the cook at McDonald's, is behind the check-in counter. Also empty parking lot, also fully booked. Holiday Inn Express, empty parking lot, person that was clearly the damn cashier at McDonald's, is behind the check-in counter. Surprisingly, they have rooms. Ask him if he's the guy from McDonald's. No, that's my brother. Fuck it, good enough for me. Get to room, Wi-Fi exists but nothing loads. Shower, crash. Wake up next day, no breakfast in lobby, no other guests, McDonald's guy still there for checkout. Ask him how to get out of town. Same road he came in on. Head to McDonald's to get something to eat. Town is still playing smooth jazz. Still nobody on the street. Order a drive-thru. Drive-thru lady is definitely lady from the Hampton Inn. Ordered a McGriddle and black coffee. She hands me a microwaved English muffin sandwich and what I assume to be some kind of instant coffee. Place is too fucking weird to stay and argue. Heading down the only road in and out of town. Maybe 3 miles on to the 5-mile dirt road, notice big metal wire fence on both sides of the road in the desert. Meet on the road in a big motorized gate that is open. As soon as I pass through gate, it starts closing. Gets back onto road, finally get onto 62, that's not right. Could have sworn I was on 89 when I decided to pull off and there's mountains in between. Finally get cell service, nothing matches description of town. None of the charges ever show up on my card. I've told some people, and one suggested it was Richfield, but I know I was south of there, and you know, they would have actually charged me for stuff.
And what a great story that was. It hooks you in, it gets you interested, but it's just a story, right? Well, as you go on in Tor's video, it goes on to seem like maybe it's not just a story after all, but maybe there's some information presented that this fake town might actually be a real place that you can go and visit.
The needle really began to tip toward the story being true against all odds when another commenter claimed to have identified exactly where the fake town was from the original poster's description. They said, Piute Reservoir, East Bank, military installation that is locked on Google Maps. It's visible from 89, and the road south passes through a Google Maps censored security gate right before 62. Looking at that specific place in southern Utah on Google Maps, I can't find anything particularly odd. There's nothing that looks like it could be a fake town from satellite imagery, but remember that various countries' militaries regularly ask Google to censor aerial photos of their installations.
Okay, so now according to the video, we've locked down a little bit better of a location, the corner of Highway 89 and 62 in southern Utah near Piute Reservoir. But was there anything near that? And would I ever even have a chance to get out there? I mean, that's pretty far away from where I live, but I do travel for work, and so I was going to add it to my list of places to make a pit stop if I was ever in the area.
So the first thing that I did was I went to Google Earth to take a look at Piute Reservoir and see the surrounding terrain and what it looked like, what kind of situation I might be in for if I wanted to try to find said fake town. And as you can see, on the eastern bank of the Piute Reservoir, there does seem to be a road. This road leads all the way down south to the town of Kingston. So I did some searching around and found that there is a road right here, East Fork Service River Road, that leads up into the eastern access road to the Piute Reservoir. When we switch over to Google Maps and look at the terrain, you actually see something interesting about this road. When you come down here and scroll and see where this road goes through, there seems to be a natural choke point right here. You see that there is a break in the terrain where the road goes through, and as you continue to head north, there is another choke point right here, where it could easily be that there is some sort of gatehouse or guard shack watching and waiting for people to come around the corner and come up this road. Looking at the satellite view on Google Maps gives us the clearest image of the road that runs along the east bank of the Piute Reservoir, East Side Piute Reservoir Road. And you can see that there are a couple branch off roads. And if you scroll all the way up here, it looks like the road just dead ends and turns around. But this is the area in Tor's video where it was suggested that possibly this was blanked out by the government because there's a secret base along this eastern shore of this reservoir. All I had to do was figure out a time that I could make the trip to southern Utah, and I would be ready to check it out. As fate would have it, I'd get my chance to do just that when I was asked to drive my work van from Los Angeles, California, where a motorcycle tour ended, back to Denver, Colorado, where the U.S. office is and the van is stored. If you look at the route between Los Angeles and Denver, there is an intersection of I-15 and I-70, and just south of that is Junction, Utah, where the Piute Reservoir just happens to be. Well, okay, it sounded simple then. All I had to do was take a quick little detour south along the Piute Reservoir and just look at this road, drive up to it. How hard could it be? I mean, if there was a main road going to a main town, it seems like it should be something easy to drive down, right? Right? The road appeared to continue on for the 5 to 7 miles as described in Tor's video, but unfortunately the conditions of the road meant that I couldn't continue driving in my van. So I put my drone in the air to see what I could find from an aerial vantage point. Unfortunately, I couldn't get all of the way down, so I decided to see if I could find another way around the reservoir and maybe get a different vantage point from the other side. And this is where our story takes its first strange turn, because as I was driving down that eastern Piute access road, I kept getting buzzed by these two airplanes that were flying in a close formation to one another. I'd recently seen a Save It for Parts video where he identified an FBI surveillance plane flying circles in his neighborhood, and I knew if there was a secret government facility in front of me, they more than likely had surveillance and knew that I was coming. It was absolutely time to backtrack and see if I could find a different way around the reservoir and a vantage point where I could see that eastern bank and figure out if there was actually a town out there or not. So I started my trek back south towards Kingston. About this area, the break in the road that I had spoken about earlier was actually a small little pass that I went over in the van. When I went back down to Kingston, I had to take 62 back up to 89. As I got closer to the reservoir, there was this road that paralleled 89 that was actually old Highway 89, and it had multiple pullout spots along the reservoir that I was able to drive down and see if I could get a vantage point of the eastern bank. But just like when I was on the east bank, strange things started to happen. First, the two planes buzzed me again, this time even closer. The next thing that happened is the gimbal on my drone malfunctioned and I couldn't get a stable shot when I put the drone in the air trying to get a shot of the east bank. I still, to this day, don't have an explanation for the malfunction, and it's since corrected itself. So clearly there were strange goings on in this area in southern Utah. I needed to find an area where I could get a clear vantage point, but one that I would be elevated and so I could actually see from where I was. My drone wasn't working, so I was going to have to climb. It was during this climb that I found the next strange thing, what I refer to as Chillytown. What's Chillytown? Let's have Tor explain that to you.
One thing I kept seeing in researching this story was the mysterious phrase Chili Town, as in beans and cheese and ground beef in a can town. The screenshot of the story was posted under the heading Chili Town or Chili Town in Utah on several different Reddit forums by several different users. When the screenshot was posted to an image hosting site, the comments were full of statements along the lines of, "It's Chili Town," and "You found Chili Town." I sent out a request on a Reddit forum for Utah residents asking what Chili Town was, since there really wasn't any information on Chili Town other than the comments to this story on social media, and most of the responses I got were as confused as I was. Nobody seemed to know quite what Chili Town was, except one person who said that Chili Town was a southern Utah-specific term for migrant farm worker communities. They appear and disappear depending on the seasons as the workers who live on cans of chili come and go. Hence, a mysterious town that isn't on maps in southern Utah might be jokingly called a Chili Town, just like the tent cities of chili-eating Hispanic farm workers who are here today and gone tomorrow.
They weren't lying about Chillytown.
Okay, so it's very possible that Chillytown was just a pile of garbage that somebody had dumped out there and set on fire or something like that. It was definitely something to add to the list of strange things that had been taking place. But now the time for distractions was over. It was time to climb up to the top of this ridge and finally get a view of that eastern bank of the Piute Reservoir and definitively figure out if there was a secret hidden town there or not. So it appeared that definitively there was no hidden town on the eastern bank of the Piute Reservoir. No shacks, no sign of civilization at all. In fact, what I did prove was that the aerial photography that Google Maps was presenting was actually accurate. Now I needed to decide what my next course of action was going to be. I could burn back north to the freeway, but it was still a possibility that I was in the wrong area, and somewhere between 62 and 89, this Truman-style town was still out there. So my next course of action was going to be following 62 north until it led up with 24. I thought maybe there might be a possibility that I could see something else. And see something else I did. That's right. At the very northwest corner of the reservoir, there was a state park where people did all kinds of recreation, from boating to driving ATVs to all kinds of things. So having a town hidden on the eastern bank of that reservoir would have been a really bad move because tons of people would have seen it all the time. So using Piute State Park as a starting point, if we scroll up, we can get an idea of the direction that I decided to take from there. I was right about here and I had two choices. I could follow 89 north to the freeway, I-70, or I could go down and around through Kingston and take 62 all the way up to Burrville where it met up with 24, and then 24 would take me all the way back to I-70. It was a little bit of a detour, but I figured it was definitely my best chance if I was going to be able to find some hidden city between the two roads. So as I made my way north on Highway 62 towards the freeway, I did start to see a few more strange things. Did you catch that? Okay, once more, but zoomed in. That was a truck that said law enforcement on the side of it and had a dirt bike in the bed. And it turns out it wasn't just that truck. I was actually starting to see more official vehicles on a pretty regular basis. As it would turn out, the closer I got to the freeway, the closer I would get to my answer. Depending on how close attention you've been paying throughout this video, you may have noticed that there was a wildfire burning in the map portion of where I was showing that I was headed. That massive fire was burning between the two highways, between 89 and 62, and the closer that I got to the northern side of the freeway, the more that fire became apparent. In fact, it's very possible that the airplanes that were buzzing me were both aquatic airplanes equipped with water tanks using the reservoir's water to scoop up and fight the fire. So I wasn't able to get any close-up footage of the second plane that was flying with it, but both planes were of a similar style, and you can clearly see that the second plane that I was able to capture had some sort of flotation device on the bottom. Now, whether these were two guys out on the lake having a good time, or people who were actually firefighting, I'm not sure. However, it's more than likely that they were probably firefighters. So did this mean our mysterious town from our 4chan post didn't exist? Well, yeah, more than likely. The only other possibility that I could think of was maybe they were thinking of Monroe, as it is south of Richfield, but it's before you even get to 89, and it's well over an hour's drive through the mountain to get to 62, so it's probably not Monroe. Now, I think that I've done as much searching in the area as I'm probably going to do. Maybe there's a possibility that it's still somewhere out here between 62 and 89, but that'll have to be left to some other intrepid explorer, as I'm going to move on to other things. Now, I would like to take a quick moment to point out that the wildfire in this video at time of producing was still burning. As wildfires become more prevalent in the United States and around the world with ever-evolving climate change, it's our responsibility as outdoors people to do everything that we can to mitigate the risk of wildfires. Now, all wildfires aren't necessarily human-made, but if you can do anything to prevent them, you absolutely should. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. I just wanted to make this in response to Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities video about a fake town in southern Utah. It wasn't on the eastern bank of the Piute Reservoir, but maybe it's out there somewhere, who knows. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, do the things. I've been Cousin Matt. I'll see you on the next one. I do news on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I do travel shorts on this channel as well. So thanks, and we'll catch you later.